if we have that, we're to build other people up, and you give a great illustration from your time as being a lifeguard. When someone's drowning and you go to help them, they'll immediately climb over you and push you down. But if you just go down a bit and push them up, they'll be much better. Right. I really enjoyed that illustration. The thing that I'm trying to understand and wrap my brain around, though, is how do you help people that don't want the help or radically disagree with your conception of what their best self should be? Let's say that they formulated their identity around their sin. And you could see that today in whatever group you want to pick up, whether it's someone who's being, let's say LGBTQ. Let's just throw that out there for right now. Or someone says, I'm going to embrace my true identity, and I'm a man, but I'm really a woman on the inside. How do you help them if they disagree with you? Because if you say to them, okay, I see this is who God really made you to be, is this person, and you're pursuing this. And they said, stop persecuting me. You don't know, you're a bigot. How do you then love them in that moment and not go into enemy mode?
Again, we really can't prevent ourselves from going into enemy mode. The thing we can do is not stay there very long. Okay. And so, I've yet to find anything that keeps me from getting pushed into enemy mode on a near daily basis. Someone decides to do something that upsets my feelings, I'll bop into enemy mode. But I hope I'm more like a beach ball. You can't keep me underwater for long.
Is this in your anger, do not sin? Is that what we're kind of seeing there?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
The next thing I would say is that if you look at God's success record at telling this to people, he's got a huge failure rate. So I'm not going to assume I'm going to do better at convincing people than God has done, because he's got the most resources for doing it. And then Jesus himself had a near total failure rate. I mean, how many did he actually pull out when he was trying to rescue them versus the people who disliked what he was doing? So again, I'm thinking to myself, well, no matter how you do this, you're not going to succeed better than God and Jesus have so far going along. But there's an interesting thing if you look at, I believe it's Isaiah 49, when God is talking to Messiah, and Messiah responds, my life has been without form and void, using the same two Hebrew words that are used about creation at the beginning of time, that I've been a total failure at the mission God sent me to do. And God says to the Messiah, because you've been faithful at this task that you've totally failed at, I will give you the task of saving the world. So faithfulness is almost always measured by God and how well we persist in something that's never going to work. And so we're called to faithfulness, not to success. And the problem with the as if self, it always configures itself around what's going to work. How do I get success and becomes something that'll somehow work here? But now we're actually losing honor as we're going along. We're losing status because we have become secondary to whatever gets results. And you just mentioned earlier that that's when making other people lose and getting results and all those other things become infectious and want to get into us. So if all that God wants from us is that we remain who we are, and that is, regardless of whether you stay in enemy mode or not, I'm going to offer you a door to something different. And I'm going to get back there as fast as I can every time you knock me out of, back into enemy mode. Actually getting back after enemy mode is probably a better example than staying out of it. If the rest of the world tends to be in enemy mode anyway, and they see us come out of it 3, 4, 5, 7, 12 times, it begins to convey the message to them, hey, there is a way out of it. How is it this person keeps coming back from enemy mode, which I see clearly I put them in, but what happened after that? And so our very recovery is actually good news to other people. It says, oh, there might be a different way. The story that comes to mind is Schindler's List. You may have seen the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a place in there where Schindler tries to convince the prison commander not to shoot people, and to try and he said, you'll feel better about yourself if you actually try to be take good care of these people instead of shoot them. And then the commander comes back a little bit later, and you see him pull out his rifle and shoot somebody out the window, which to me is particularly poignant because I actually know a person who was in that camp at the time, under that commander, and I know their family, and the effects of this. It gets quite different how it feels. I mean, Schindler's List is enough to blow your mind anyway, but then if you meet the people, in this case the little boy that played the trumpet in the camp, and was at danger of being shot by that commander, you see that here are people who are trying hard to remain who they were meant to be, and dealing with people that are not going to listen to him. But the heroic part of it, the part that makes us the kinds of people that God wants us to be, the reason why the commander is not the hero of the story, is because he got results. He stayed in enemy mode, and we are to be a witness that that's not the way we should live. Not necessarily because it's always going to work,